The examples of nicely restored Oliver garden tractors, or mowers if you will. Can you tell us something about this series of tractors?
Well, this here's a little 75. It's a real desirable little tractor that everybody's looking for. They like this little bitty one, and they're real hard to find, and it's just a real fine tractor here. Ken Besky here out of Elko, Minnesota has got this whole display here. One of these tractors actually he bought from me a couple years ago and has restored it. The 75, they made the 75, the 105, and the 125, and the 145. This one here, it just happens to be the little 75. The one next to it, it's equipped with the mower deck, and just a fine restoration job he's got on that.
Now, were all of these tractors built in 73, 74, or just a few years of production?
There was only a few years of production, yes, and I can't tell you the exact years, but by the chart that's on this one, it was manufactured 73 and 74, and it looks like that's what most of these were. I know Ken has checked this all out, so it must be right in that era of these tractors that he's got here. He's got a fine job. The decals have been reproduced by Lyle Dumont, I believe, and some others, and he just got a fine job here restoring this. Real good paint job on it.
Like a lot of the restorations on the bigger tractors, the paint job is probably better than it was when it was new, huh?
Yes, a lot better gloss than what it came out with, more high-dollar paint than we got now. This here's a little 105. It's a gear shift. They made tractors in the gear shifts and the hydrostats both. And if I'm right on this, I think the 105 strictly came in a gear shift, and then the 125s and 145s, you could get them as a hydrostats. He's got a fine restoration job on this one here too, and it also belongs to Ken. And it's just the next one here, the 105 and the 125 and 145, all use the same engines. It's just different horsepower ratings is what it was. Actually, the 105 was a 10 horsepower engine. And so that's the how they arrived at these numbers. And he got a fine job on them there.
I see they all have a cast iron front axle, which signifies a pretty well-made machine, huh?
Yeah, and the bottom part of the engine block is welded right to the framework to reinforce the frame. If you took the motor off, while you left the pan actually stays with the frame on these tractors.
I see.
This here's a little 125. It's basically the same tractor, just 12 horsepower, hydrostatic drive that on this particular one. And you can get it as a gear drive or as the hydrostat, either one. This one here is also equipped right up in the front. I can see he's got part of the PTO shaft on it. These tractors could be equipped with a PTO shaft. You see the little pulley down there with a spring on it, and that is actually where the PTO shaft assembly hooked in there and went to the back, and you could get a PTO shaft on this thing.
If one were serious about wanting to collect some of these tractors, you would need some serious dollars, though. These don't come cheap as collector's items. Actually,
the PTO shaft is on the back of this tractor. It just don't have the belt on it. As you can see, it's sticking out the back here. It's all there and in place, and some of the there was a rototiller unit went behind this thing. You can see the little brackets down there on the axle on this tractor. That's where the some of the units hooked into there that were PTO driven. And there's tillers around. Was the main thing I think that went on the back there.
That looks like a 1 3/8 inch spline shaft.
Yes.
That's a lot of shaft for that size tractor.
Some of the idea was at this time they was even turning their little farm augers with these tractors instead of putting a big tractor on it. Whether you could drive your auger when the wagon came in. Of course, they was using the smaller augers than what they got today, and wasn't reaching up 60 foot with these long augers.
Well, finally, we need to look at this 145 over here, and that was the big one, huh?
Yes, we got a 145 here. That was actually a 14 horse engine in that, and basically the same design on it. It's got the nice little bumper on the front. I think that was probably one of the options at the time. You could get this little bumper in there. They had little options like that the whole time. A lot of times the people didn't know about them and didn't put them on the units. But it's a finely restored tractor. It's also a hydrostat. And Ken has did a lot of work to these tractors right here. I don't think he's too far away from the showgrounds here. I'm not sure where Elko is, but I know he called me up several times. He needed this 145 that I had, and he came down and bought that from me one day.
Very good. Well, this display of these Oliver lawn and garden tractors really adds a nice dimension to our show. We got lots of big Olivers though to show people here in a little bit, huh?
That's just one of these things that Oliver built so many different things along, and it was one of the things that the dealers didn't push hard enough, or there'd been a lot more of them out.
Yes.
But it was a fine lawnmower. I've got a couple of them at home that I use all the time, and they are good mowing little lawnmowers.
Very good.